So what are the strategies that we should be thinking to force this alliance is actually meaningful?
What can we do as researchers, civil society, funders, donors to challenge this very framework instead of grappling within the box that is given to us and they'll say it is bad?
The diverse exchange oriented to common goals in the Copasah Global Symposium 2019, organized at India Habitat Center, New Delhi, between October 15 and 18, 2019, produced a social accountability charter that envisages an agenda for the future journey of Copasah. It provides the route to be followed respecting regional and local context and processes and envisions a strong advocacy tool and medium for social accountability and citizen rights. It sets forth broad visions of how citizenship, governance, and accountability processes can contribute towards better health and well-being of all, including the marginalized and deprived communities. The Charter was created by a drafting committee, and to incorporate the region-specific community issues, the Charter was discussed in 4 regional assemblies and our Researchers' Assembly in the Copasah Global Symposium. The regional assemblies comprised of practitioners from Africa, Southeast Europe, South Asia, and Latin America regions. The Researchers' Assembly included intellectuals and supporters from research and policy making and implementing institutions. The regional assemblies and the Researchers' Assembly became a space for the participants to voice out values, frameworks, challenges towards drafting a global social accountability charter and call for action, demanding health and healthcare as a fundamental human right. The draft of the charter was also disseminated widely through different media platforms of Copasah to seek inputs and insights of diverse practitioners from across the globe. The discussion pointers which emerged from the regional assemblies, Researchers' Assembly, and through social media platforms were collated and taken for further discussion in the Practitioners' Assembly, which was held on the last day of the symposium.
So, here you can see the language that starts off the charter. And we're trying to make it a broad, very inclusive approach. And we want to hit all the major concepts about social accountability for health. And you can see we're touching on citizenship, governance, the processes for accountability, etc. So it's not to read every single detail, but it's to give you a sense about how the charter begins. And you'll see the text when it comes out next week. 2 core beliefs that guide the charter. One is about the fundamental essence of human rights as a guiding principle. And second is how do we operationalize those through accountability, transparency, inclusion, participation, and democracy.
The charter is about the people, it's building from the bottom up. Like yesterday we have discussed a lot of political big declarations. It started from there, from the New York, Geneva, Washington, D.C., Addis Ababa, AU, everywhere. Now this charter is from here. So we should own this charter and use it as our own call to action. So basically, we can say there's an overarching call to action for everybody. Build solidarity around the charter, around the people, engage communities in health governance, not just by attending or signing attendance or a meeting, but to actually participate in the process, not just to attend and just sign attendance and say people are around. Then promoting transparency, inclusion, participation, and accountability for all. One of the core areas for the call to action is calling on community-based organizations and social movement. And this is what is expected for them to also do as part of the charter, promoting leadership of women and marginalized people, and also demand social accountability.
We're making a call for action, but I think the key audience is obviously the people at community levels. So maybe it should go with something that encourages encourages people to look into their own work. You know, actually the call we're making on people to make sure that it happens. So there's all different groupings. We're calling for different types of action, and I'm worried that it might just get lost again. You know, like I think the language is quite critical. The level of language that we use.
Aman was talking about global to local. It's not the language actually. It's not English, Germany, or French. It's the form of the language that's more important. What is required is, in fact, last 10-15 years, I'm not hearing the popular language. So here we have a document which is in English, but when you go down, we need to have popular form. So I request that take this document and in your own form make popular ways. It may not require the formal language. It can be in pictorial forms, it can be in other forms. Popular way of communicating. That's what community will have to connect.
I think in Europe we can use the chat for advocacy action. There are some networks that are trying to advocate health in the European Commission and in European strategies, and this chat will help them to, and I'm part, my organization is part of that network, to even more advocate the European Commission and European MPs at the European Union level. You know.
I think that all the organizations representing in this forum, they can incorporate some of the points in their vision, mission and goal, organization goal. Then they can push the things to forward.
Then to actually forefront it in our dialogues with various other stakeholders. This is what I will suggest. So when we have a meeting with the government, we can say this is a global charter. You know, and you can also keep this in mind. When we are having a dialogue with a multilateral agency or with an international donor, we can say, look, this is a charter. And we are aligned with this charter. And this is not one organization or 10 organizations. This is 500 delegates from across the world who have jointly adopted the charter. So it has a certain, I won't say moral force, but it has a certain force behind it. It's something which is emerged from a broad consensus.
In the assembly, nearly 500 practitioners, activists, researchers, academicians who had gathered for the symposium endorsed the charter and the call to action by committing to ensure equitable and accountable health systems and to promote solidarity, empowerment and leadership of the marginalized.